Is good, everyone. This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free. To live your best life, you must live label free. And I'm back with another incredible guest. So sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is the founder and creator of the Mindful Solopreneur, host of Securely You, a relationship and attachment style coach. Please welcome CT Kaupp. CT, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's always awesome to have on a fellow podcaster because it's like, you know, the drill, you know, like the process. And so it makes things a little bit easier to flow. You know what I mean?
I could do this anytime, anywhere, like in my sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually tuned into your podcast and I really liked it. I was like, I like your setup and I like the focus. And like I was
Mhm.
telling you before we started recording, and is that like the universe is like put us in alignment because of what I got going on in my personal life. So it's gonna be interesting to like go through this conversation and apply it to what I've been experiencing. So before we get into like that, I want to know a little bit more about what made you become a relationship and an attachment style coach.
So my entire life, I have seemed to have given off the vibe of life coach. People just naturally will tell me their life stories after I have met them for 3 seconds, or I'm the type of person that'll ask you, what's your life purpose after we just met. And so I always knew that I would be a coach at some point.
Sure.
And based on some past relationship experiences, it put me down the path of attachment styles. And the last one in particular was such a high. And like we are in it's sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, and we're just up in
Yeah.
a different planet. And
Yeah.
as high as that was, then we were that low.
Yeah.
And it was the deep self-reflection afterwards, after everything kind of blew up, to understand. Like I knew of attachment styles prior, but to be able, it was like we had the self-awareness, but we
Sure.
didn't have the clarity to actually change.
Sure.
So we were just basically triggering each other. And when what we felt was safety was the opposite of what the other person needed and desired. And so it was just that going through the self-reflection process and understanding then that I've been repeating the same patterns. It's the same person, or it's a different person, but it's the same
Sure.
story. It's the same pattern, just repeated. And until we have, like I said, the self-awareness, we can't actually have the clarity to then change. So it was just kind of like an aha moment. And I'm so passionate to help others, because if I knew then, like say in college, if I knew in college what I know now, like my relationships would be 1,000% different for the last 10, 15 years. So just imparting that knowledge and guiding people to create secure relationships that really feel good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of just told my story. I feel like though there's a lot of people that are kind of experienced that. Like how long have you been this type of coach for?
I've been doing it for about a year,
Okay.
but I've been studying it and then just own real world experiences for many, many years. So it feels very second nature. And
Sure.
I would tell you how aligned it is. Like literally, I am open to talking to anyone in an airport or restaurant. Like it does not matter. Like I just want to, get it out there, and people can feel that genuine nature. Like
Of
it's not
course.
performative. It's just like deep in my soul that like this is my purpose for this time in my life, that I can't wait to share it with whoever needs to hear it.
Do you feel that there's a lot of people out there that are repeating the same patterns?
Definitely. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 60, 152. Literally, we just repeat the same patterns until we have the understanding to be able to change it. And I think we're in this crazy dating world of that as well. Of like everybody is just kind of like talking about, like we've normalized different things. Like we all want emotional depth or growth mindset, but then we don't actually put in the work to do
Yeah.
it. So it actually like is then reinforcing all these same patterns. It's like all of these unhealed or people that have these, like, let's just say, disorganized patterns or dysregulated patterns, that we're all just like perpetuating that, and so then nobody's actually fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so my current situation, it's like we were at the high when we first met, it was high, 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 so great, so connected, like just felt like everything was wonderful. And then life started happening and it just started falling apart. And for me, like that was triggering me, and I would fight with him. to like I'm fighting. I feel like I'm fighting for the relationship. Like I need this from you, and that was triggering him to like push me away. And so like over the last year or so, it just got progressively worse to the point where we're done, we're separating, we're divorcing, whatever. And it's just like I and there was no and we are so different, we are so out of alignment on what like our triggers were that we didn't even try to work on it and fix it, which for me is unfortunate because in my previous marriage, my first husband passed away. I was with him for 17 years.
Mm.
We actually did the work to go through counseling, to reconnect, to find out how to work with each other and calm those triggers down. So like I just feel like it's unfortunate when you make a connection with somebody that's not elevating at the same pace that you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that can happen a lot too, where one person is, I'm not saying this happened to you guys, but
Yeah.
in the case of one person is growing and the other one is just kind of like comfortable
Yeah.
staying kind of in let's say level 5, and you want to go up to level 8, 9, or 10, and that can like really cause a rift.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's absolutely what happened. And unfortunately, I'm not one that stays stagnant. Nope.
That's why we connect, because yeah, it's I retirement is not a word in my
Yeah.
vocabulary. It's like I can be maybe me more picky and choosy with the work that I do, but like it just yeah, I want to keep growing and learning and all that. Yeah,
So if you're working with somebody that's in that kind of situation, like like real time, like what would as a coach, what would you try to help them work through? Because if that person is growing and the other person wants to stay the same and doesn't understand what it means to grow, like would you encourage them to try to give them tools to work through that relationship? Or like, because that's a really tough situation. For me, it's been really hard. Like I've had a very
yeah,
difficult time like wrapping my head around what happened. And wanting to fight for something that person doesn't want to fight for you is like it's so like heartbreaking. You know what I mean? And so like
yeah.
what would you tell that person if you're working with them in real time?
Yeah, I think it really is a case by case, and I can see it both ways. My personal mindset is similar to how you described it. Like I want to be with somebody that is we're in this together, that I
Yeah.
want this as much as you want this.
Yeah.
And so to feel that disconnection, whether that is from a growth standpoint or other ways, it's something that I've understood about myself as time has gone on, is the deep like reciprocity and mutual investment, authenticity, curiosity. There's just like so much that it can have that high initially, but we need to be compatible. Like the physical chemistry or those sparks, all that's like great, but it's not going to really be what sustains the relationship. So I really think a lot about the nervous system and like being with somebody that calm, it's like how does that person make you feel?
Yeah.
And calming, you want somebody that calms the nervous system, is peaceful to you, and you feel good in that presence. And what you described is like the opposite, like because you're feeling triggered, or you're feeling like that person's kind of like bringing out the worst in you, in certain ways. And it's like I also think about it like you can want to help an addict as much until you're blue in the face, but like if they don't want to change, they're not going to change. So it may sound kind of black or white from a relationship standpoint, but that's kind of a way that I look at it, is like if the other person doesn't want to change, then like there's really nothing you can say or do
Yeah.
that would make them want to flip that switch.
Yeah.
As
That's
as as sad as that is, right? Like we don't
yeah.
that hurts, but like in a simplistic way, that it kind of works that way.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because I feel like so for me, like if you make an when get into a relationship and you build a life together, to me that's an investment. And we don't invest ourselves just to throw it away,
Correct.
you know. And so yeah. Um, so
I would just say like I feel that with any, like just even just dating. Like
yeah,
I'm so intentional that like I'm not going to message you on an app just because for my health, just because it feels good to talk to somebody. No, like I'm reaching out to you because I feel a potential compatibility or connection because
sure.
of X, Y, or Z, and I'm excited to continue to get to know you. And that whole like just non-committal, casual nature that we live in is just like crazy. like flavor of the month. Like, oh, tomorrow I can just open the app and find 62 other people that, are
Yeah.
interested in me. And, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to dating again. Not exactly, like that's not on my punch card at the moment. But you did, like, I want to kind of circle back to the nervous system
Mhm.
component. And so like I which where it was really interesting, CT, in my situation, and maybe other people that are listening can relate to this, is that when we were together, like when things were vibing, he was my calm, he was my peace. And
Mhm.
like I never had fallen asleep with somebody so easily before. But then
Mhm.
when we were apart and he started creating this distance, that's what was
Yeah.
triggering me. And it has really affected, like, I haven't been able to sleep.
Mhm.
I haven't been able to eat. I've lost 20 pounds since this all started. And
Yeah.
it's just like my nervous system can't seem to calm down. It's almost like I'm detoxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I feel that. So you're saying that in person it felt very good, but
Yes.
then as good as it felt, then it was the opposite when you were not in person.
Right. Correct. And he started pulling away. So
Yeah.
what do you tell someone and how do they regulate their nervous system? Because I've had a very difficult time, and I'm sure a lot of other women out there can relate to this. Even men. I'm not sure.
Yeah. 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 I would say, I mean, I felt very similar to you in my last breakup. So like, yeah, I was not eating, like wasn't doing all the things I should, right?
Yeah.
Uh, what I'll say is like it's gonna sound, it's probably just gonna like sound simple or sound common sense, but it's really like just think of things that calm you, the solo you. So like whether that is journaling or listening to music or going for a walk or just calling up a good friend, family member, whatever it is, and that doesn't mean that they're going to like take away that pain or they're going to fix it,
Yeah.
but just being able to get outside of that bubble because that's like so self-consuming. and
Yeah, it
and
is.
I can totally hear and feel what you're saying of like to the extreme, like I can't sleep, right? Because like with
Yeah.
them it was so peaceful and it was just
Yes.
so easy. And so anything that you can do to kind of just like break that pattern
Sure.
with other things that are soothing to you, that kind of self-soothing aspect. And I understand because I've been through it myself.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, or you can do all these things and I'll do all these things and I'm like, well, hey, like, but I really just want the connection. So like it's not,
Yeah. See, that's what it is
uh,
right there. That
yeah.
connection.
But
That's
but I would say like I feel like over time
yeah.
like the pain of that lessens and you're able to kind of come out the other side, and whether that is 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, I don't know, everybody is different. There's no timetable to it,
God, I hope
but
it's not 2 years. That would be terrible.
yeah, yeah, but
No.
it just to give yourself grace to whatever that timeline is. It's just like grief, like there's no timeline to that, and so just don't beat yourself up for it, and just like know that this too will pass. And I just strongly believe that everything that happens for a reason. And so because of this experience that you went through, then the next relationship or the third next relationship that you have will be that much more fulfilling. And I would just lastly, I would say, this just came to me as I think about this a lot too, is that the things that somebody that a past partner puts you down for, or things that made you feel less than in that relationship, will be the exact reasons why that next person will love you the way that you need to be. And that might be hard to feel in the moment, but I just feel very strongly that uh, we like internally beat ourselves up and put shame around things that we think we're not worthy or good enough. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, the person that's meant for us will see that and value that for us just being the who we are.
Sure. No, I would agree with that. And then definitely if you are on a growth cycle, like you should, for me personally, like as I grow through this, I'm definitely going to be choosing differently moving forward. But if you were working with somebody like in real time, like how would you help them rebuild their attachment style? Because that's a really important piece of growing forward and not making the same mistake over repeating bad patterns, right?
Yes. So there's just back up 1 second. There's four different types. So there's secure, and then three insecure, which is anxious, fearful avoidant, and dismissive avoidant. And so there's different traits depending on where you land in that. And the where I like to start is to go back to your childhood and how you grew up, how your caregivers or parents showed love or didn't. And
Mm,
then because that's mainly where this is coming from, but
sure.
also from past relationships. And so, for example, I was born and raised secure, but because of past relationships, it became anxious.
Sure.
And I was seeking that reassurance. And so, in that, when I got out of that last relationship, then it was like, okay, hold on a second. Where, on one hand, I'm repeating the same pattern over and over and over again, just different people.
Yeah.
To what is like, where is that coming from? Why am I anxious? Why am I seeking that reassurance? And just getting very deep with yourself to understand where that is coming from. And that gave me so much clarity and
Sure.
then confidence to just, hey, I am me, and like take it or leave it. And I don't need somebody else to validate who I am. And that doesn't mean it's like F the world, I don't need anybody.
Right.
It's just a kind of a peace and comfort with myself. And I might be on a different path than most people, and I'm not doing the corporate 9 to 5, and I
Sure.
might do this thing a little different, but that's okay because that's just who I am. Just kind of owning who you are and building up that confidence. I think a lot when I peel back the layers, a lot of the attachment styles, regardless of the style, it really comes back to like a self-worth and a self-belief and a self-confidence within yourself.
Yeah.
And that can help tremendously as you move forward in life and relationships.
Yeah, for sure. Can you tell us now the coaching is separate than the mindful soulpreneur? Is that two different things?
No, everything's under the Mindful Solopreneur
Okay.
umbrella. That's the business name. But I'll do one-on-one coaching, speaking workshops, whether that's at colleges or corporations. It's interesting to bring the attachment style language that is very like romantic, like focused, or people just think of it in that lens, but also to show how that can come
Effect in
up
the
in
world in the working yeah, in the
correct,
corporate
correct,
world?
yeah,
Absolutely. I could totally
yeah,
see that just because it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic.
yeah,
You know, because
yeah,
we
yeah,
have, yeah, we're all flawed. Jeez, the whole goal is to get better and grow. So talk to us about your podcast. You're the Securely You, and I tuned into the one your 5 minute uh,
reflection
yeah, reflection.
questions,
That was
yeah,
pretty good. So tell us a little bit about that and what the audience, if they want to tune in, what they would hear or how that would
yeah,
benefit them.
yeah, absolutely. So it's all about attachment styles and relationships. I like to keep it between 5 to 15 minutes. Most are solo episodes. The one that you listen to is just like a quick 5 minute
Yeah,
reflection questions that
it was
that was
good.
kind
No, it was really good.
of
I took away
thank
a
you.
lot.
It was very kind of serendipitous how that episode even was because I wasn't planning that and I was recording something else and it just kind of flowed. So I enjoy just talking through different dynamics and whether that's personal things that I've experienced or talking to a friend. I would like in the future to do some interviews and be able to kind of get others, experiences too, to make it
Sure.
even more relatable. But I've really enjoyed creating that content. And if I could, man, I would just like interview people at the airport and just like random,
That would
strangers
be
on the street
cool.
to
I
talk
would
about,
tune in
yeah.
for that because that would be so probably enlightening and like how many people are struggling. I feel like there are more people struggling in a relationship than not. You know, we all aspire to have like that good, healthy, stable, connected relationship. And
Yeah.
it's just like somewhere along it starts out good, right? And I think
Mhm.
like you said, like either there's trauma or like family history that
Yeah.
prevents us from ma- maintaining that stable
Mhm.
relationship. And I know for myself, I mean, I never thought that I never saw this coming. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
blindsided. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's the hardest thing for me personally, because I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I think that it would be really interesting to hear like random people and their experience with that.
Yeah.
Would you do like just curious, like would you do like a quiz style, like if you did something like that at the airport or just at a public place?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I honestly looked into doing the airport thing, but there's like legalities and
Oh
logistics
God,
that
yeah, all the
it's
permits and
yeah,
shit.
it's
Yeah,
not a yeah, but like I love the concept of just like, hey, I'm going to Kansas City and you're going to Miami and we would never meet except we just randomly ran into each other, just so like
yeah,
serendipitous. Um, yeah, but just being able to get others' opinions because I do believe very strongly with what you just said. Like you put language to that where we're living in this world where we see everybody else's highlight reels. Like we're comparing our lives to everybody else's highlight reels.
yeah,
So we're assuming that everybody's in these deeply fulfilling relationships.
yeah,
And what I say is like, okay, so you're walking the street and you're seeing this couple holding hands and you think that, oh my, they're perfect, right? You
right.
don't know that the second they get in the car, they start arguing and they argue the rest of the day and like they're living together, but they're actually, not really, they're in a relationship, but they're like living separate lives and they're just
Yeah,
really not connected in any way. And like we don't know that because what they just put on social media, looks picture perfect.
right.
And so
Yeah.
I think, yes, we're living in this world where there's more people that are in unfulfilled relationships than deeply satisfying, and when we all deserve the latter, and to be able to create that with another human.
I love it. So if somebody wants to work with you after listening to this, like what's the process? Do you do like a discovery call? Make sure you guys are in alignment. Like what does that look like?
Yeah, reach out on my website, and I have a quick form on there you can fill out. We can chat, do the intro, make sure that we're the right fit. If you're looking for somebody to speak at your college or corporation, it's all right there. I've just like streamlined that contact form. So regardless of what you're looking for, you can easily take action there, and then you can follow on social if you're just looking for the free resources or the
What's the
podcast as
link?
well.
What's the link in the socials?
Yeah. Yeah, the mindfulspx.com is the website. And then I have the same handle across socials, just at the mindfulspx.
Awesome. You guys, I'm gonna put those links in the show notes. I'm also gonna, if you're watching this, you'll see it here on the screen. So if you are struggling with some kind of relationship and attachment style, you need a little more clarity, go ahead and book a call with CT. I'm sure he'd be happy to have a conversation with you and a dialogue and see if you guys is a good fit and work together. CT, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
We only get one shot at this life. And at the end of it, we aren't going to care about the materialistic success or the job titles or the amount of money in the bank account. And we all deserve deeply enriching, fulfilling relationships. Each one of us has the opportunity to create that.
Yeah.
And so let's do that as we move forward and help others do the same.
Well, yeah, 1000%. I love that because I feel like once we're able to tap into having those type of relationships, the world would be a much better place. You know, oh my gosh. But thank you so much, CT, for sharing your gifts and your expertise and allowing me to you using me a little bit with my story to kind of walk through like how you help people. I think it is very relatable in that regard. So thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, and share. And we'll be back with more dynamic guests.